Hey everyone, welcome back. So it's been a pretty terrible, no good day today in the market. The CPI data also came out. Obviously, it was a lot higher than I thought in my previous video that I did yesterday. I thought it was going to be under 8. We were at 8.3. So we'll look at the data here, what it suggests possibly going forward. We'll also take a look at Coinbase. There's some troubling news around there. We'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at Rivian, Iris Energy also provided their numbers for Q3, I think they call it, but it's basically the first quarter of this year. So we'll look at that. We'll look at the miners. The miners were way down today. 15 out of the 16 miners that I cover reached basically brand new 52-week lows on the days. So that wasn't good. There was only one that went up today, and I think it was because it had such a bad day yesterday. So we'll look at that, and we'll look at Bitcoin, see what it's doing right now. It's still not looking great on the chart, at least on the 1-hour chart, so we'll get into it. But as always, not financial advice, you know the drill. I'm invested in the following coins and companies, and let's get into the miners here. So Annie was obviously down quite a bit today, 17.62% on the day. It was down to 95 cents. It's down a little bit in the after hours right now. When you're watching this, we'll be probably in the pre-hours on it. I'll post this video at 6 o'clock in the morning for you guys, and that's Central Standard Time. Argo was down 6.44% to 61 cents. It obviously hit 52-week low of 61 today. Digital was down 9.76% to $1.48. It hit $1.48 as a low for the 52-week low. Bitfarms 185 was at the end, so it was down 11.48%, up a little bit in the after hours, but it did reach a 52-week low of $1.85. Cleanspark was down 11.93% to $5.02. So in the after hours, it's up a little bit. It also reached a new 52-week low of $4.88. Cores was down 16.12% to $3.59, up a little bit in the after hours, but it also reached a new 52-week low at $3.50 today. So you're seeing a pattern here. I mean, these miners are getting They're getting really driven down. Obliterated. There we go. $1.48, so it's down 5.13% on the day, up a little bit in the after hours, but obviously it also reached a new low of $1.45 for the 52 weeks. DMG was down 12.82% to 25 cents. Hive was down 22.55%. Obviously, the news that came out from them that they're going to be doing basically a reverse split on the stock, so 5-to-1. So you get, for every 5 stocks, you would get 1 stock, basically. And that's not helping it. Obviously, it's down to 92 cents, and it's up a little bit in the after hours, so it has reached a new 52-week low as well at 92 cents. Hut 8 was down 12.86% to $2.44. Iris Energy was down 10.29%. It's up a little bit in the after hours to 723, so it was at 689 for the day. It also reached a new 52-week low of $6.80. Luxxfolio was down 7.23 to 14 cents, reached a new low as well at 14.61. Marathon was down 15.42% to $9.98. It's down a little bit in the after hours as well, and it reached a new 52-week low of $9.91. Mawson Infrastructure was up actually, so this is the only one that was up today. Up 8.61% to $2.90, and I think it's because it went down so much yesterday. It was down like 20-some% yesterday, and it did reach a new 52-week low yesterday. Riot was down another 9.16% to $6.84. It's down a little bit now again in the after hours. It reached a new 52-week low of $6.75, and we're seeing this kind of happen day in and day out recently. And then Stronghold was down 9.65% to $2.06. It reached a new low on the 52-week chart at $2.01. So obviously we're seeing this pattern here. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here. Bitcoin right now is at 28,569. We are seeing that the RSI is kind of hovering at the 39 mark right now. Looking at the data here where it's at right now and where it was prior, looking at it, or even at the lows here. Look at the low, we were at 29,200 roughly here at this point. Going to the same point here, we are lower on it. So that leads me to believe that we will probably continue to go lower here in the interim, at least in the next couple of days, until we actually get capitulation, possibly like they've called it before. We might go down to like 24,300, which is the point at which is the fair market value, I think, of Bitcoin is what they called it. I could be wrong on that. But this is kind of where they see the line where we may be defending it at that point. Right now, it is kind of bouncing off of this green line here, which is at 28,709. Right now, it's a little bit below it, so we'll see if that holds or not. That was actually our part of our wedge here on the daily chart, if we look at it. So this was our wedge that we drew here, going from the previous bottom here that we had, and then obviously going towards this wedge here, possibly forming here. So we'll see if that gets supported or not. If it doesn't get supported, I think we are going down to 24,000 mark, somewhere around there. So right now, it's not looking good on it. Ethereum is down to 2015 right now. It is also acting the same way as Bitcoin is. Let's go to the 1 hour chart here really quick. Zoom in on it. And we are looking at the RSI. We are at 34 right now. Prior to that, we were over here. We were up higher on price. We're now lower with the same RSI. Leads me to believe we're going to be going down in the interim for the next, within the next couple of days, I think. So we got to be mindful of that. So that's obviously not a good thing happening here. Let's take a look at Bitcoin's hash rate for the network. See what's going on. I think some miners might be turning off their miners, especially if they have the older miners. They might be turning those off. And we are at 221 million. And on the raw value, we are at 226. So we're still within that range of where we've been increasing over the past couple days and weeks here. So it does look like miners are getting installed on that. All right, so let's take a look at the CPI data. I was thinking it was going to be below 8. I was wrong. It happens. You know, taking kind of an estimated guess of how things might look, and it didn't look as good as we thought it was going to look. So here's what we got. All items right now, we are at 8.3% for April. Obviously, in March, we were 8.5%. So we are seeing a decrease in that. So if we actually go to the chart here, I want to point this out to you as well. On it, where did it go? Here it is. Okay. So hopefully we were in March right here at 8.5. Now we are at 8.3. Hopefully we're going to start seeing that line, go down as the months come through here, going into May, June, July. Hopefully things will kind of even out a little bit and go back down to where they should be, so we don't have this huge inflation going on. Obviously, the biggest things that have gone up this month are, dairy has gone up quite a bit, 14.3%. Cereals and meats, poultry, basically all foods have gone up for the most part. Fruits, vegetables, 9.1%. Energy was huge again this time around, was 30.3%. Biggest one was fuel oil, 80.5%. Motor oil or motor fuel was 44%. Gasoline was 43.6%, also really big. And then obviously gas was really pretty big as well, at 22.7%. And then looking at new vehicles, so new vehicles have come down a bit, 13.2%. Used cars are still, selling really well, obviously because of the chip shortages that we're having. And then transportation, we have airline fares. The airline fares have gone way up, 33.3%. And that is basically based on, I'm guessing, the fuel costs that have contributed to that as well. So it's not looking great, but the good news is we may have hopefully peaked in March for our inflation here, which we see here. If that is the case, that is good news. And I think the coming months should decrease, as we've seen before with the UBS estimates as well, where they saw March being the highest month and then everything else after that slowly coming back down to about 3% or so by the end of the year possibly. If that happens, that's obviously great news. So how do we use this? I think we can use this to possibly, I don't know, I'm guessing, well, here's what I'm doing. I am still buying the dips I bought today. So I bought some more Rivian. You guys know I'm invested in Rivian. I've been invested in them since the beginning, since they IPO'd. Big mistake by my part there, but I believe in the company. I believe in what they're doing. So I wanted to get in on it. My original goal was to get to 100 shares of Rivian. I have now surpassed that. I'm at 123 shares. Obviously, the price has come back down, so I've been buying as the price has been going down. I bought another 23 shares today at 21.20. This was this morning before the earnings report came out. So we'll also take a look at Rivian here in a little bit. But I've also been buying like Bitfarms, Cleanspark. I'm looking to possibly buy some other altcoins and maybe some more Ethereum. It all depends on how much cash I have available to spend. Okay, so let's get into the other news here. So Coinbase. Coinbase in their filings wrote something that was a little alarming to people. So Coinbase earnings were bad. Worse still, the crypto exchange is now warning that bankruptcy could wipe out user funds. So this is obviously concerning if you're, holding your funds, your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, and other coins on Coinbase. This is why they always say, take your coins off of exchanges, put them in your hardware wallets. If you don't have a hardware wallet, get a hardware wallet like a Ledger or a Treasure or something like that, where it's off the exchanges and it can't be hacked and possibly liquidated if there's a bankruptcy event. But here's what Brian Armstrong said in a Twitter comment. So in a comment shared on Twitter, Coinbase CEO and founder Brian Armstrong said the exchange had no risk of bankruptcy and that the disclosure was made due to new rules set by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission regarding public companies that hold crypto assets on behalf of others. So this disclosure makes sense in that these legal protections have not been tested in a court for crypto assets specifically, and it is possible, however, unlikely that a court would decide to consider customer assets as part of the company in bankruptcy proceedings, even if it harmed consumers. Armstrong tweeted while reassuring users that your funds are safe at Coinbase. So I think Coinbase is a very reputable company. They are obviously doing a lot of good things. But if there's a slim chance that you're, depending where Bitcoin goes, if Bitcoin goes down to, 3,000 again, well, who knows? All bets could be off. But I think they are pretty well funded. I don't think there's going to be a chance of it. But still, the point of getting your coins off the exchanges is one, they're your coins, so now you have control of them. Coinbase doesn't have control of them. But the other thing is that you're also taking out the liquid pool of coins that could be basically loaned out, used for margin and things like that by Coinbase to other companies and things like that. So that also, I think, provides a more stable price for Bitcoin if you take out all those coins that are used for lending out. Okay, so that's that. Let's take a look at Rivian here really quick as well. So Rivian stock jumps as EV automaker says demand remains high and production is on track. So here's the main tidbits of it. So Rivian said on Wednesday it maintained its 2022 production target, saying it's still on track to build 25,000 vehicles this year. Here's the big takeaways. Loss per share was $1.43. The Wall Street basically thought it was going to be $1.44, so a little bit better than one penny better than Wall Street thought. So that's why the stock is kind of pumping a little bit right now in the after hours. Revenue was $95 million versus $130 million estimated per Refinitiv consensus estimates. So that was obviously down from the estimates that they had. Net loss was $1.59 billion, which is a lot. Vehicle reservations over 90,000. So this is obviously good. So Rivian said it has over 90,000 reservations for its R1 series truck and SUV, up from the 83,000 as of its last update in March. The total includes about 10,000 new reservations made since it raised prices at the beginning of March. It's set at an average purchase price of over 93,000. So that is also good. So it's still seeing pretty good demand from them. They are obviously pretty expensive, 93,000. I was looking to possibly buy one, but not at that price. Not unless I'm striking rich with their stock. So that's kind of off the table right now. So the company said it has lost approximately a quarter of its planned production since the end of March due to tight supplies of some critical components, including obviously semiconductor chips. We're seeing shortages of chips all over the place. Through May 9th, Rivian had produced a total of 5,000 vehicles since starting production last fall, including the R1T pickups, R1S SUVs, an electric delivery van for Amazon called the EDV 700. A second smaller van for Amazon called EDV 500 is currently in final testing. CEO RJ Skiringe said Rivian's Illinois factory will have a capacity of up to 150,000 vehicles per year once its production line is running at full speed. And I believe that comes out to be, if we're running 150,000 vehicles times 93,000 apiece, we're looking at about $14 billion in sales. So that would be pretty good if they could get to that. Obviously, it's going to take a while for them to do that. We know the trouble that Tesla has had in the past, obviously ramping up production. It's not an easy feat to do. There's obviously a lot of challenges. Now we have obviously the supply challenges as well. So it makes it a little bit more difficult for them to get to that point. But I think they can probably do it within the next 5 to 10 years. Rivian's manufacturing efforts will soon get a new leader, Frank Klein, the current leader of auto supplier Magna International's contract manufacturing unit, will join the company as chief operating officer on June 1st. Klein is expected to focus on resolving those supply chain issues and scaling up Rivian's production. So that's good. The company had $17 billion in cash remaining as of March 31, according to its first quarter release. It said that will be enough to cover its spending through the launch of its next model, a lower cost vehicle called R2. Okay, so that's interesting, at a planned new factory in Georgia in 2025. So that's good. So they obviously have plenty of cash on hand to, basically do whatever they need to do to build out, get the infrastructure in place, and scale production as well. So that's why I'm in Rivian for the long run. I'm not in it for a trade. I'm looking at it as like a 5 to 10 year investment, and hopefully it'll do. Hopefully, even if it does half as well as Tesla did, it'll still be a great return on investment for me. All right, finally, we got Iris Energy has reported. So here's the numbers that we got from them. So revenue of 15.2 million, and this is for their January, February, March numbers here. We'll look at my numbers that I have for it as well here in a minute. And I believe, let me take a look here, see if I got this correct here. Let me see if I have this up or not, and I didn't think I did. So let me load that up really quick for you guys, and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so that's loaded up. Okay, all right. So back to the screen here. All right, so adjusted EBITDA of 7.3 million, adjusted EBITDA margin of 48%, which is fine. Record average operating hash rate of 833 petahash, which is an increase of 686% year over year, exceeding Canal Flat's previously announced site capacity of 0.7 exahash or 700 petahash. 357 Bitcoins mined, so that's an increase of 449 year over year, which is good. Expansion to 15 exahash of installed capacity progressed well across 4 data centers, so they're obviously on track to get that, but it's still taking a while to get there. So what else do we have here? Oh, the actual information. There it is. Okay. So here is the data that we're looking at. So Bitcoin mining revenue of 15.178 million. Electricity and other site costs were actually pretty low. I was surprised at that. 3.5 million for those costs. Share-based compensation expenses for founders was 3.2 million. Share-based payment expense for executives was 403,000. I understand why they do it. They want to retain top talent, but I think it should be pegged to performance. That's just my opinion on that one. Profit loss after income tax was 2.678 million, which is okay. It's obviously, I believe that's 2.68 million. Or is it 2,000? What is that in thousands? In 0 zeros. So we had 2 more zeros yet. So that was obviously 2.6 million on that one. So let's take a look at the numbers that I have for them. And where was it? Iris Energy. So originally I had them for, let me see here, January, February, March. I had them at 4.7 million, 4.4, 4.5 million here, and 5.4 in March. And they reported obviously 15.178 million. I had them at 14.6 million. So pretty close to that. I was off by 3.3, almost 3.4% on that. I wanted to be under 2.5. Excuse me. So I was pretty close, but I do know why. The numbers here that I have as far as what they mined for Bitcoin, which they reported, January I had them at 4.8 million. And in January I had them at 4.76 million here. I don't know how else I could have gotten them to this number here to match the same number as in January here, 4.85 roughly, almost 100,000 more. And then also in February, I had them at 4.7 and here, but I had them at 4.5 roughly, so 250,000 short there. Based on what they reported as far as having their hash rate at, This is kind of what I figured out was possibly what was mining. So maybe this should have been mining, but it's still at 28 days. So I don't know how they got that, unless they're actually counting the numbers that were, yeah, I'm trying to figure that out. It could be also from, no, that still wouldn't make sense. If they were counting the daily production amount and the daily price of Bitcoin, that still wouldn't jive here. Because with these numbers here, if I just take up January, February, March, I still get, well, I get a little bit closer, I get 15.1 million compared to the 15.178. So I still would have been off by 78,000. So they could be maybe obviously accounting for the production daily differently or weekly. I don't know how they're doing it to get to those numbers. I'll have to look into it some more. But I was off by 3.4%, which isn't too bad. So I've updated the numbers here as well to reflect the latest and greatest numbers that they have provided, the actual numbers for the last 3 quarters, which now includes the actual numbers here. And then we're estimating right now for the second quarter here, we're looking at approximately 11.8 million, the way things are shaping up right now with the Bitcoin price the way it is. Obviously, if Bitcoin rebounds, that could be 15 million, could be more, could be less, but right now that's kind of where we're looking at it right now. So based on the information that we do have, 75% net income from revenue, they're basically at about a 9 PE right now. I think some of the miners here, most of the miners are undervalued, but I think the way they're growing and where they're going to be, I think they should get a higher price to earnings multiple, closer to about 20. So I think they should be closer to about $15.64 based on what I'm seeing here. And then obviously we have some of the estimates. Analysts ranges are $31 all the way to $22. That would obviously be on the high end. And that would obviously have to be with a higher Bitcoin price. So Bitcoin does go up from here. We could be obviously at $30 with the stock price on it. But it all depends on Bitcoin right now. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, the spreadsheet is available to Patreon members. So thank you to those guys for their support there. Also, we'll see what happens tomorrow with Bitcoin right now. It's not looking great. Luna obviously has tanked. I mean, it's like $1 or something right now. And that, I think, has also brought Bitcoin down lower. So there's a lot of sell pressure as well. Going to look into what's going on with Luna and Terra USD or UST, what's going on there. Maybe do a video on that when I get some more data on it. But that's all I got for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And that's all I ask you guys. Have a wonderful evening, or actually morning, because you guys are probably watching this in the morning. And have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye.